Hello, friends. Abdul Kalam has written a book, India 2020. In that book, he mentioned that India will become superpower by 2020. But why India is not superpower yet? The thing is, will India become superpower is the question now. And the answer lies, I think, is in our mindset. What I mean by mindset is, let's go deep into the question why India is not superpower. It actually starts with our history. Britishers ruled India for over 200 years, and what they have made us good in our slavery mindset. They designed all the education system or all the rules just like to make good slaves. Don't ask any questions, just obey orders. And because of that, what happened is we don't have good leadership quality developed in our system. So our education system continued even after independence, and there's no much change in it. And now what we see is we don't have good leaders that are coming out after college or after education. So what is good leadership quality? A good leader works for other. Right now we have people who works for themselves. They excel in one of the skill and they excel only for them. We don't have people who can work or think about others. We don't have people who can solve the problems of the society. We don't have people to whom we can follow. We have some people, but they are very few, and those are the people only who are managing our top management, and they are doing really good in our corporate or even in the political society. So what we need is an education system which can develop good leaders. The third thing which I feel is we have lot of discrimination in work. What I mean by discrimination of work here is what we think work, we attach the work with our status symbol. Now, you don't find people who can work in tea stalls, but actually in tea stall or even a small tea vendor will earn a really good amount of money than a normal software engineer. I will give you an example here. I don't want to say much, but now you got the point what I'm trying to say. We always attach work with our status, and that is the problem. Just see this video of this guy who has started his tea vending shop, and from there he became a millionaire or even a karodpati, what we say. And the name of his chai vending shop is the MBA Chai Wala. So just see this video and Josh Talks. It is really good video and it will give you a real motivation why we need to start thinking on work as only work, and work is our priority. It doesn't matter what you do. What you need is a good experience, and from that itself you can develop something new. Now the things which I want to know is who are our superpowers currently in the world? America and US, or China and US? What is the reason behind why US became so powerful or superpower like that? It started with World War II. Before World War II, US was nothing. Actually, US was going through a rough patch of depressions, and 25% were unemployed. Suddenly the war came upon them. All men were sent to war, and women has to work on the industries to fulfill all the needs of industrialization at that time. And so innovation took place and lot of industrialization happened, and after that even by the post World War II session, because of these industrialization, the US became the superpower. But the answer actually lies in the innovation in itself. Why they continued to become superpower is they were good in generating lot of ideas. So this is a graph where we see the patents filed in 2017 across all the country, and patents are nothing but the ideas which can be protected legally, so nobody can copy your idea, and if they copy they can pay you the royalty. So you can see here China and US are the topmost who files the number of patents, and see the situation where India is. So we can say like what is the idea generation in our country is very poor, though our population is too high and we have good people who have real brains, but we don't encourage peoples to file patents or generate lot of ideas. That is the problem. The second thing what I feel is we don't have good entrepreneurs. We don't have lot of entrepreneurs in our country. Now this is where we see e-commerce sales by country in 2019, and you can see China and US again leads here. Though we can say China has a good population, so we can understand from there, but the same population is in India, and India is in very lower rank, and in USA is the second most. So what is the reason behind that? The reason behind that is people have confidence in them that if they can make a product, they can sell online also, they can sell in any means, so that the market encourages them to sell the ideas and don't give up on anything, don't give up on their dreams. So you get lot of entrepreneurs to try most of the things to sell online or whatever is the means. So that is the one reason. But whole thing started or whole thing starts from their education system. This entrepreneurship, leadership, innovation, it all starts from education system. To give you an example, in their early stages they only study how the moral values you should be developing, what are the good leadership quality that you can have, how you can manage people in groups or teams, and how you can perform tasks which are hands on, and how you can make things from the scrap or just the things that are around you. So that is the education that they developed. They don't concentrate much on the theoretical knowledge of the subjects, but how you can use things or the subjects, or how you can learn with play and other activities, so that it develops your inquisitive mind. So that is their education system. And basically I'm talking about US because I know more about US rather than other countries. So we can compare that and see how we can change our education system. So taking these baselines, I think government has decided to move on to our new education policy in 2020, and it can be a game changer in our mindset, which can deliver more leaders and more entrepreneurs in future, which can create more jobs, and because of that we can become superpower once again. So just see the major changes that I want to highlight, how it can help. So earlier we have 10 plus 2 system. What is 10 plus 2? In till 10th class you will have set subjects, and after 10th class for 2 years in 11th 12th you can choose your stream. And here the streams are also discrete, you cannot move or interchange your stream. So once your stream is decided, your career is decided, so you have to be very careful here, and you don't have choices. Now the system is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So now they understand, rather than first class we have to start from the early stage, which is our preschool. So 5 years preschool plus 2 year, one first and second, which is 5 years, so which is a foundational course where you learn many things just by playing activities and other things which are not that theoretical. And rather than mugging up things, here the intention is to make children more inquisitive towards other their experiences, the hands-on experiences, and with playful mode. So they learning capability starts from here. And then we have from second to fifth, I think it's a preparatory stage where the learning of with playing and activity again continues, but now the some subjects will be introduced, which is language and other humanities subject. And from 5th to 8th you will get some theoretical knowledge, but from 6 to 8 you will get some theoretical knowledge, but it will be with experiential learning. So here coding is also introduced, where if you are interested in those kind of real application making, you can learn from this stage. And also the vocational training is started here, so you will learn how a different kind of people make their living, how a carpenter, electrician, or a builder will be working hard to earn money, and that will make a respectable society, because each work is very important in our society and people should respect that. So that feeling is very important at the early stage. And probably if they find if they grow up and they find that in these job profile they can innovate something, and probably we can see the entrepreneurs like we have seen earlier, like an MBA chaiwala, right? And after 9th to 12th you the 4 years you can choose your stream. Actually you don't have to choose the stream, you can choose elective subjects that you want to learn and you can explore. So idea is more you have multidisciplinary people, more their mind will be open to new ideas. So let's say if an engineering a person who wants to go to the engineering field but also wants to start their own business, they can take business administration along with physics, chemistry and maths. Or a guy who is good in commerce field, he wants to run the business but he also wants to learn the complicated analytics in his life, so he can take maths. Similarly, in arts, a guy who is very good in art and he wants to take a subjects in humanities, but he also doesn't want to lose the track of science field, so he can take physics or economics or anything like that, and along with that he can learn humanities subject. So idea is not to restrict any stream and open to all. That is a very good idea, because I believe if you have exposure of lot of subjects, your mind will work very different than a very fixed mindset. What you will have is a growth mindset. That is very important. Only thing is, right now they are also trying to incorporate a common admission test by national testing agency like SAT. So SATs are undergraduating test in US. So you once you give SAT, and then through SAT score you can apply to universities. So right now what we have in many universities is direct admission based on your percentages, and sometimes if you don't get good percentage, you won't be able to get in good universities. So they what they want is to cut down this particular aspect, and they want to conduct a common admission test which can happen twice in a year, and based on that test in itself you can apply to the universities. But I still recommend government not to only concentrate on common admission test, because admission in US is also doesn't dependent only on SAT scores. What kind of background you do and how your teacher recommendations or what kind of projects you have done, according to all these scenarios they will actually take the admission. And similarly we should have also these things. You should have 360-degree peer, that is what they are introducing, 360-degree assessment, and all these assessments along with your common admission test, we people should be taking admission in the university. So that should be my recommendation. Let's see how it goes, as it is still in the early stages. And the major changes which happens in undergraduate program is, which will be very helpful, is multiple entry and multiple exit. So as you know, at the first year you will get certificate. If you leave after 2 years of graduation or your degree program, you can get diploma. If you leave after 3 years, you can get a degree. And if you are interested in that subject and you want to continue more, you can do research, and after 4 years you will get a degree with research. So this is introduced because many of the time we don't have some of the people will be stuck in some other reason, and maybe they don't want to continue the same subject, so their year is not wasted. They don't have to start again. They can actually take that year as a credit banks. I mean, they can store that as a credit, and they can change universities, they can change courses, they can take gaps, 2 years gap, dropouts. So they can explore many other things and they can come back again. They don't have to restart from first year. They can start from second year, third year, wherever they have left. And that will be the year of academics they have spent, that will be again credited. They are kind of a credit bank, so which is good thing to have. This is nothing new. It is already there in some of the universities, like in IIT. If you don't complete a degree in 4 years, they will give you a certificate degree after 1 year or 2 year. In masters also they have the same thing. If you don't complete a 2 year masters, if you want to leave it in 1 year, you will get a certificate course. There could be any reason. And you also have a multidisciplinary branches, so major and minor kind of a thing, where you are not stick to one particular stream. You can also take some subjects of another stream just to make your exposure big, and you are eligible for multiple jobs. Same thing happens in IIT also. To give you an example, like a mechanical engineer can take some subjects, like 4 5 subjects in a whole graduation from computer science. So that subjects will also come in his degree, and that will be also called as major in mechanical and minor in computer science, so that he is also eligible in applying to the computer science degree. So in that way people can learn multiple disciplines, and now anyway, because of technology, all the disciplines are integrated. So there is no discrete fundamentals of any engineering or any humanities or any commerce stream. People are have to perform everything. If you are becoming a good leaders because of this will help a country a lot. So let's hope this changes will help us in national new educational policy of 2020, and that may give us some background or some head start. It will take some time, but at least it is a good way or path to proceed. Hopefully you like the idea. The video was little delayed because of some technical issues we had. Sorry about this. Hopefully if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Facebook pages as well. This video will be also posted in English, in Hindi, in our Hindi channel Career Opportunities. This was Amit Parsai signing off. Hopefully you like the video. Thanks for watching.